these are my favorite earrings. I love the pink. I also love that they're cuffs. It makes me feel like I'm Uhura on the Starship Enterprise. Oh hey! Hi! It's me, Wilma Fingerdoo, with the Fingerdoo review of Drag Race Holland, Season 1, Episode 6. And before I get started, I just want to send a shout out to my friend Lisa Oki. She sent me a picture of her dog Kibo in a chapox that I made. This is an original Wilma Fingerdoo hat. I wore it for a review and then gifted it to my very good friend Lisa Oki, who is such a great supporter, not just of Wilma Fingerdoo, but of Toronto's performing arts community in general. And she's a doll. So, cooey Lisa Oki, and your dog's looking gorgeous, by the way. I'm just saying. I also want to send out a shout to my tipperdoos this week. John Dwyer, you big old flirt, and Glenn Gore. Thank you, boys. I appreciate it so much. And I also want to send a shout out to my Redbubble models. First of all, Zothai on Instagram sent this rare picture of a Halloween Egyptian queen. Look how gorgeous, I'm just saying. And one of the reasons that Zothai sent this picture is because the mask that her daughter's wearing is actually a child-sized mask. And she said that it fits way better and is much more protective of her Egyptian princess. So if you're someone with children in the home and you were wondering how the child masks differ, well, they actually differ quite a lot. I also want to send a shout out to Christine Bell Helen. She's rocking the Kiss of the Spider-Do t-shirt, which unfortunately are no longer available on Redbubble. They were only available up to Halloween and they're gone. But you can still get Denise Journeau print either on a t-shirt, cup, whatever you want, to help support the Rainbow Railroad, which helps people from the LGBTQI community get out of countries where they're being persecuted just for being themselves. So there's 4 lovely prints at the Redbubble store that you can buy for yourself and support a fantastic cause, as well as the Denise Journeau Wilma lips. There's the masks. So you always have a smile on your face, even if people can't see you smiling. So if you want to grab some merch or become a Redbubble model here on the Fingerdoo Review, just visit the links down below in the description box. Okay, Jorge, drink me! Ugh. What is this? It looks like slimy black evil on toilet water. I'm close. It's Fresca and... oh. All right. This is Fresca and black vodka, specifically Hound's vodka. This is a Canadian vodka that they make in St. John's, Newfoundland. And if you haven't been to Canada's East Coast, it's fabulous for about 20 minutes on June 14th. And then it's frozen hell all the other rest of the time, which is why there's so many microbreweries and craft distilleries in St. John's, Newfoundland. And Hound's vodka, this is black vodka. It won't turn your mouth black, it won't make your poo black. It's minerals, it's not dye. And it doesn't taste, I thought it would taste a bit like Zambuca or something. No, it's just vodka. Imagine that just floating on top of a bloody Caesar. I'm just saying, nothing says Halloween more than a bloody Caesar with black bits in it, I'm just saying. Okay, so let's get to it. We started this episode off by saying goodbye to Cedergine. And by we, I mean everyone but Abby. JJ was sorry to see her friend go, but not that sorry. And Envy was going to miss her humor, but Abby, she was too busy gloating. Now don't get me wrong, I know that Abby's an energetic performer, but she was up against Cedergine in whatever pig in a blender outfit she had on, lip-syncing to I Want to Dance with Somebody. Cedergine was going home. No offense, that was not her lip sync to win. So, to divert attention off herself, Abby and the rest of the queens congratulated Envy on her 2nd win of the season, something JJ was desperate to not see happen again. The next day in the workroom, Envy was still riding a 2-win high, so to bring the room down, Abby pointed out that half the cast had been eliminated and that they were the top 5. But before anyone could celebrate, there was Rue's video message about it taking 2 to win. And it had them all scratching their heads because there's been complaints. Thank God Fred arrived to distract them with dessert. Dessert. But it wasn't just dessert, it was this week's mini challenge as well. And what was the mini challenge, you ask? It was called Save the Date. The queens had to pretty up and then go on a blind date with the bachelor Holland's Nick Merhensen and do their best to not let him leave. This was an interesting challenge because while the queens were prettying up, they also discussed their dating skills, or specifically lack thereof. Chelsea admitted to being a quiet killer. I believe that. So the less said for Chelsea, the better. She likes to lose herself in her gaze eyes and do nonverbal flirting. I said no talking! Abby wouldn't know how to date. She met her boyfriend in high school and they've been together ever since. JJ said that she's shy and shuts down around guys she's attracted to, so clearly she's not interested in anyone in the cast. But she did reveal her signature flirting move, which is to suck on a cocktail. And then it was on to the date. Everyone looked gorgeous. Well, except for Chelsea, who decided that a mustache and stark makeup would keep her date coming back for more. It didn't. But then that's what Chelsea was going for, so good job. I didn't understand what JJ was wearing. She looked like Cher's stand-in, but for what I have no idea. Mama Queen was hard to ignore, what with that demure neckline down to her crotch. Thank goodness she removed her panties because she was severely overdressed, if you ask me. Abby's Afro Puff screamed, "There's a disco party on my dance floor, so let's boogie oogie oogie," and Envy was serving red tail snapper for dessert. I have to say, this was another challenge that I wish we didn't have to read. I'm sure we lost all sorts of things in the translation, but my fave parts were Abby coughing whipped cream on Nick because she choked on that banana. That's what you get for trying to show off, Abby. I'm so serious. Mama Queen working her dessert into her gaping décolleté was almost more than I could stand. And by the way, gaping décolleté was my drag queen name in high school. And JJ stealing a kiss, well, that was just plain adorable. I have to say, I thought Envy was going to win it just because of how beautiful she looked. But no, it was tits wide apart herself, Mama Queen, who was Nick's unforgettable date. I know I'm trying to erase it from my mind. And then it was time for this week's Maxi Challenge. Makeovers! I love these. I love seeing who's good at makeup and who's good at just their makeup. So, who were the queens making over this week? Loved ones. Envy Peru and JJ's mother Laura and Petra, Abby's brother Victor, Chelsea's BFF Jacob, and in a Drag Race first, the first time a contestant's father is taking part in a makeover, Mama Queen's dad, Hans. Yeah. And they weren't the only ones visiting the set. In a deja vu moment that I couldn't quite shake, Rihanna Van Doors showed up with cocktails. All I have to say is, thank God Mama Queen just impersonated her, or I would have no idea who she was. And I also would like to say I really enjoyed meeting her because, well, she's fun without the saccharine. And way more fun than Mama Queen's version anyway. Right away, Rihanna got to know the teams, and I'm so glad she started with Mama and Hans. What a great dad he is, eh? To acknowledge that whole awkward process of discovering and growing up that every child goes through, and to support that in his own child, even though the choices that he's making aren't always received that well by the people around them. You know, I'm of that age where if you were an obvious sissy, you were shunned by all males, starting with your father. So to see Mama and Hans holding each other and talking so candidly, I don't mind telling you, I had to reach for the tissues a couple of times. I'm so serious. Next, Rihanna visited Abby and Victor. No wonder they're so close. Being a kid isn't as easy as us grown-ups want to remember it being, but being a poor kid sucks way harder every time. But I don't know if Abby would be as creative or independent if she hadn't had to work harder for it. I know I wouldn't be. And it looks like Abby's relationship with her brother is stronger because of it, too. Chelsea's BFF Jakob was clearly going well outside his comfort zone to help Chelsea with her challenge, and Chelsea was hoping that this experience would loosen up Jakob's concept of masculine versus feminine, because who doesn't feel loose strapped into a corset? Next, Rihanna met with Envy and Mama Peru, and we could see immediately that they just adore each other. I'm impressed that Envy's mom had the strength to stand up, not just to her husband, but to the machismo of her homeland, and let Envy be Envy. I have to say, it was also good to hear that after 18 years, Envy's father seems to be coming around. Time heals everything. Tuesday. Is too much Mac and Maple. Good grief, does JJ ever look like her mom, eh? Here's another strong parent who let their child be their child. As heartbreaking as it is to hear about kids who were bullied and, like JJ, had to move schools to escape it, it's not that uncommon, and I think that if more parents reached out to organizations like PFLAG so that they realize they're not alone, this bullying trend will finally die. Well, at least at school anyway. But before we could dwell on what could be, it was elimination day in the workroom, and the queens had twice as much to do as usual because they had to get their loved ones up into drag too. Everyone was impressed that this was the first time Hans was clean-shaven in 35 years. That means it's the first time for Mama to see her papa looking like a baby. No one seemed near as impressed with Jakob's close shave, but he didn't care. He was being distracted by the breeze. So, to get everyone in the mood, the queens had an impromptu walk-off. I was impressed with Victor. This obviously wasn't his first time in heels. Hans wasn't the least graceful in heels, that was Jakob, but at least he didn't fall down. But the clear winner was JJ's mom, Petra. I guess strutting it out runs in the family. And then it was pretty up time. All the queens were worried about elimination, and that was obviously the motivation they needed to bust out the glow-up. I loved what Envy Peru did to her mama's face. Wait, that doesn't sound right. Mama Queen did a great job on Hans, even though it wasn't the most artistic application, and JJ's mama looked even more like JJ. Seriously. And then it was time for the runway, where Fred looked fantastic dressed up like a unicorn fart. Seriously, it was cotton candy realness. Joining Fred on the judges panel was the ever-present Nikki Plessen, model and not only the winner of Holland's Next Top Model Season 8, but the first trans winner of the entire ANTM franchise, Louise Lammers, and finally, the one and only Rihanna Von Dorst. Category is, we are family. I'm sorry that the queens didn't give their family members drag queen names. It would have been fun to see what they came up with, but they didn't. Abby and Victor were first, serving up the Mortal Kombat realness. I thought they looked cute, but their costumes looked store-bought to me. No. Envy and Laura were next, riding a pair of Peruvian llamas. I love this look. I like that they were similar, but not the same. The wigs were fabulous, and Laura looked like she was having the best time of her life, which never looks bad. JJ and Petra were practically bookends. They looked so much alike. JJ crowning her mother was a lovely touch, probably because her mother's the only queen she'd bow down to. Tell me I'm wrong. I absolutely loved Chelsea and Jakob's runway, but it was too simple. And although it was executed beautifully, these outfits look kind of costume store-ish to me too. Sorry about it. You know what I love most about Mama and Hans? They look like twins. Pregnant twins. Okay, pregnant hooker twins. First off, I thought Hans did a great job, although I would have liked to have seen these looks without the jackets and the baby bumps, because those were the elements that were giving me pregnant hooker vibes. I still can't believe that that was Mama's father. And then it was time for the waterworks again, because the judges started their critiques off with Mama Queen on the Hans. Right away you could see how emotional Hans was to share this experience with his son after so many hard years of ridicule and abuse heaped on him by their community. I don't think anyone truly knows how powerful it was for a drag queen's father to appear on Drag Race and participate so fully and without shame or fear. It really was a powerful moment. Everyone cried. Well, except Fred. But I'm sure the makeup artist warned him not to smudge anything. Seriously. Chelsea and Jakob were next, which is too bad because how do you follow such an emotional moment, right? Well, they didn't. Not well, anyway. As much as everyone liked their look and concept, it was just a little too simple for the judges. JJ's Mama Petra got a little emotional listening to JJ sing her praises, and the judges all seemed to love their look. Well, except for Rihanna, who felt that it had all been a little too frou-frou for her. Well, fair enough. Envy's mom, Laura, burned Nikki Plessen and her use of the Danish language before anyone could say anything. Now, I'm sure someone on the socials will tell us what it means and why it was funny, but all I could find out was a reference to an impersonation of Nikki Plessen on a TV show where they quoted her as saying, blah, 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 chocolate, blah. Apparently it's hilarious. Last but not least were Abby and Victor. Everyone loved their runway and their obvious adoration for each other. And then, as if we hadn't cried enough, Fred asked all the Queen's partners to tell them why they're so great and why they deserve to win. This was okay, but a little forced to me. The only thing that would have made it interesting is if one of the parents at least had said they weren't impressed and that their queen should try harder. Now that's a show I would watch, but no, it was what you'd expect. Loving and tearful. Damn it. Backstage, the emotions continued. Mama thanked her dad for being the first dad to come on Drag Race and show interest in their son's art form, and JJ surprised everyone by getting very emotional by how difficult her relationship with her own father was and how great Hans was with Mama. It's a very powerful moment for everyone. I think I'm out of Kleenex. And then it was time to return to the runway, where it was announced that Envy Peru was the winner. Again! 3 times the charm, I'm so serious. And surprise, surprise, it was Chelsea and JJ who landed in the bottom. Damn it. Right away I was worried for Chelsea. That wig and dress did not scream lip-sync friendly, especially to Dolly Parton's 9 to 5. Personally, I wish that Chelsea had done the whole song as an alien, with no fluid movements, just a lot of weird angles, not moving to the beat, just standing and posing and lip-syncing. But she didn't. The minute Chelsea started bouncing to the beat, that wig on her head became an issue. It bounced, it bobbed, and finally, it just came off. And that's when Chelsea's fate was sealed. On the other hand, JJ did a great job line dancing and bopping. She even ditched her frou-frou skirt and closed the lip sync in style. The judges thought so too, because it was announced that JJ shantaed, and sadly, Chelsea boy who sashayed away. But not before a conciliatory hug from Jakob and the crappy little paper participation ribbon off the board. Well, you don't get much for winning. Why would you get anything for losing? Well, what do you think? Did the right queen go home? Did Abby redeem herself or dodge a bullet? And what about Envy Peru? Will 3 wins put a target on her back? All we can do is tune into Drag Race Holland next week to see how it all plays out. And when you're done, you come on back and you see me so we can compare notes. Now, don't forget to like this video if you did, subscribe if you haven't, and if you'd like to support me or my channel, click on any of the links in the description box down below. Until next week, miss me!